Good afternoon, good evening even, and welcome to the Speedway Tavern. We wasn't expecting to be here, was we?
We weren't really, no, it's a last minute thing, but but we're such professionals. We've brought loads of things to say, and
of course we are. Well, I think probably what we should possibly start with is bringing people up to date in what's happening in the Speedway Tavern world. Not that we know really.
Yeah, please tell me, because I ain't got a clue.
Some of you out there will know we've been in negotiations. We're still in negotiations with Big Centre TV, and we're still hopeful that that's going to go through and that's going to happen, and we're going to be on the television. However, we have a plan B, do we not? If that doesn't happen, can't tell you too much about it at the moment, but I think it's safe to say that by hook or by crook, within a couple of weeks at the latest, you guys are going to be able to see us in glorious Technicolor as well as listen to our fantastic dulcet tones. Do you reckon that's safe to say?
Scary.
Yes. Oh, you scare me every week as I'm looking across here, so there you go. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, if there's any new people on there, we have our chat box up and running if you want to put any comments on about what we have to say. Or if there's anything that you want to chat about Speedway worldwide, then just shove it on there and we will respond live on air. So there you go. We've got not just myself in the studio. No, you'll all be happy to know. We've got Matt Buck. Hello, Matt.
Good evening.
Very good. He's very good, isn't he? He's very good at that.
You said that. I'm only good at one thing. I don't know the way you said that.
Actually,
you're insinuating that I'm good at that.
No, I'm insinuating I was surprised you was good at that.
Right, okay.
Really,
just the way you said it. Only that one. Yeah, he's good at that.
Yeah. And you will have just heard Joseph Harris's dulcet tones. Hello, Joseph. And we have got a great friend who sometimes gets the clap. That's right.
Yeah. Good evening.
That's Webby. Or
good evening.
Chris.
Good evening.
Or
good evening.
How are you?
Good evening.
Doesn't even clap himself.
No, I'm not worthy.
No arguments from there. Okay, so I suppose
we haven't spoken for a long time. We've got a couple of meetings to catch up on.
We've had a lot of meetings.
2 or 3.
Well, Birmingham have anyway. Let's have a chat about. He's got his gizmo out. He knows I'm coming over to him. Have a chat about. Well, should we go Cradley first? Yeah. Okay. So Cradley have had a pretty good start to the season, have they not?
Yes, of course they had the win on Tuesday against
yes.
Ryehouse. Well, by all accounts, Ryehouse did show more than they did against the Brummies the week before, and Cradley only really pulled away in the last few heats.
That's the impression I got. I think probably helped by the fact that Ben Morley. Yeah, I beg your pardon. Who's Bob Morley? Bob Marley. He was riding around with dreadlocks. That might explain something now, actually. Because, he didn't show up really at Birmingham. Ben
I'm surprised about that, because I thought it was the sort of track he would have done well on. You know, he's had experience of riding in the Elite League as well, so, but...
No, well, he's ridden the track before, of course, and done well on it, so it was a surprise to me, but, stuff happens, doesn't it? So he put a much better showing up against Cradley, which probably helped them. But from what I saw of it, very top heavy team.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Of course, that was us last year, but we sort of had a top heavy team with 3 number ones in the team, whereas they sort of got 2 number ones in the team. If that makes sense.
That's right.
So. Yeah, well, obviously we're going to chat about next week's match against Cradley at some point and how we think they're going to do. Now, I made a prediction last week, which nobody heard, I'm quite pleased to say, because when we did our rehearsal with Big Centre last week for hopefully the forthcoming show, I made a prediction on the Wolverhampton against Coventry match, and I predicted Coventry to win by 10 points. I got that wrong, didn't I?
Well, you got the score on roughly right, didn't you? So, but it was just it was a very enjoyable trip over to Brandon.
I bet you did enjoy it.
Yeah, that's especially getting the 2-5-1s at the end. I think that's the epitome of sticking the boot in. So,
yes.
It was a very impressive win. Deserved win. I think as well. I think it's an important season at Wolverhampton after 2 disappointing campaigns. Just frustrating that we can't seem to get a home match on because of the weather. But obviously in action tonight as well at Swindon, and of course Swindon fallen to a bit of a surprise defeat yesterday against Leicester.
There's been a few surprises in all the leagues this year, really.
Yeah, I think the biggest surprise will be when Bellevue have a match at home, isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll probably talk about that at some point.
I think that's probably a good... Yeah, we probably will. So, well, happy with the team?
At the moment, yeah. I mean, it's only one match, but certainly very, very encouraging performances all the way through the side.
Encouraging performance by Freddie Lindgren, of course.
Oh, Freddie Lindgren, it was like watching the old Freddie Lindgren at Brandon, really. He was head and shoulders above everybody else. Looked really, really quick, looked confident, and looked sharp out of the gate as well.
Do you think you met Coventry at the right time in this one, or was it a bit of...
I've got to be honest, I mean, I've seen a lot of the predictions in the season, especially in the Speedway Star, and I was surprised that so many people had Coventry in the top 4, because I think Coventry look a poor side, especially with an unreliable number 1, as is well known by the Brummies fans, of course.
Quite.
And again, I mean, 4 points against us the other week at Brandon. Really, Chris Harrison.
Although he was a little bit unlucky, Casper, wasn't he? He had a few.
You did. Yeah, I mean, in fairness, he did put a lot on his last ride, but just couldn't get through against Mikkel Beck. But Chris Harris, you know what you're going to get from Chris Harris, of course, 100%. But really, he's not going to be able to carry that team on his own. I think Coventry probably are going to be in the bottom 2 of the.
He's had a good start to the season.
He's had a good start to the season. Yeah, he looked very quick. He had some tremendous battles with Eunice Kilmacorpy. But Kilmacorpy, a very difficult ride to the pass. When he gets in front, and I think they probably could be one of the shrewder signings of the winter. So,
okay, you've only watched one match, and it's difficult to judge a whole season on one match. But however, that's exactly what I'm going to ask you to do. I mean, some of the predictions that I've heard for Wolverhampton would have you think that they're not going to have a very good season, but possibly they may have changed their minds. How do you feel about it?
I'm happy with the team, to be honest. I was happy with the Eunice Kilmacorpy signing. Probably a signing that we should have made 10 years ago, but nonetheless a very welcome signing. It was always going to be a difficult choice, I think, for the promotion to choose between Jakob Torsell and Ricky Wells. I think they probably made the right choice, because I don't think Ricky Wells is going to progress any further. Whereas I think Jakob Torsell, although I'm not his biggest fan, I think he's got something about him that he might be able to progress a little bit further. Carl Howarth, I think, is a tremendous signing at reserve. I don't think he shouldn't be a fast track rider, to be fair, but I'm not going to grumble because he's got in there. And even Sam Masters, I think, will be a real crowd favourite because he always gives it 110%. And Mikkel Beck, even though he didn't have such a good night at Brandon, I don't think he was fully fit, in fairness, because he didn't race in the practice the week before at Mamba because of an injury that he picked up, I think, in one of the earlier individual meetings. But again, a crucial third place in his last ride to sort of tip the meeting at Brandon in our favour. I have to say, I mean, we know there's a lot of doubt over Coventry's future. I mean, the atmosphere there was, obviously they lost as well, but there did seem a real air of resignation around the place, to be honest. And it is sad to see, because
it's sad to see. Okay, we've all joked, probably not joked actually, probably meant it, about that track and it being a Gators paradise as it has been over the years. But there's been some fantastic historical meetings. I mean, one of the happiest Speedway meetings of my life was seeing Andy Graham win the British final down there. So, Do you
want the score from Swindon, by the way?
I would much prefer to have the score from Sheffield, if I'm honest.
Well, I also got the Swindon one at first. 6 heats gone.
Yes.
Swindon 12, Wolverhampton 24.
Like, Swindon have really had
that is
a bad
tremendous start. Really tremendous start.
It just shows you how important confidence is in this game, doesn't it? Because Swindon, obviously, their confidence is going to be down. And
of course, I'll get the updates from Sheffield as well now.
Yeah, because obviously we did. Now, Chris, you won't know this, but
no, I don't know much.
But
We know
it's
that.
the definitely know that. It's the under-21 championship.
Tonight.
It's the semi-final, isn't it?
Yeah,
at
yeah.
Sheffield tonight.
Am I right in saying there's four?
There's four Brummies. We have a quarter of the field.
Isn't that fantastic?
Well, it is fantastic. I mean, it just shows you have got this very young team, and we'll come on to that about what a young team and how well they're doing. We'll talk about that in a few moments. But
I've had 7 heats at Sheffield.
Okay, 7 heats. How are we doing?
And right, so Jack Parker's a Blackbird has got 4, all third in his first ride, followed by a win.
That's good.
Zach Vartanek has got the same scoreline the other way around, winning his first race, third in his second one.
Okay.
Jack Smith has had 2 seconds.
See, it's all good stuff, isn't it?
And Daniel Humer's had a last in his first race and then a win.
These guys are they're
I have to say, I think
Adam Ellis winning that, is he at the moment? He's sort of...
Adam Ellis has got a win and a second.
Okay.
So 5 points.
So who's...
The leader at the moment is Robert Lambert. Perhaps not surprised. 2 rides, 2 wins. Probably the favourite looking through the field as well.
Yeah.
But I mean,
bad start by all the Brummies.
Daniel
really.
Hume certainly he's impressed me in the matches
Well,
I've seen so far.
I think we'll talk about the Brummies, and I will talk about them till the cows come home, obviously, in a while. But yeah, so Bellevue, you was at that infamous opening match that wasn't.
Was I?
You was going to be at that infamous opening match that wasn't. I remember.
Was I?
No, you wasn't.
No,
you went.
no.
You was going to the opening meeting.
I was going to the opening league meeting.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I do beg your pardon. But it's poor stuff, isn't it?
They've got to get the place right at the end of the day. I don't think
they haven't.
They haven't had a meeting yet. I mean, the next meeting they were going to have was the National League meeting against Coventry, but that's now that on Saturday, but that's now off as well
for the same reasons.
Yeah, I think from what I've seen, the track has actually been sorted out. It's just that with the weather over the last few days, which probably shouldn't come as a surprise. I mean, Manchester it's rained, has opened up a few new issues with it. They've got to get the track right. I mean, that was a massive own goal on the opening night.
But not just for Bellevue. I mean, for the whole of Speedway. I mean, there was massive sort of press coverage and so on, and
for the wrong reasons as well.
Yeah, it's a shame. I'd like to say evening to the special one who's just joined us on the chat box.
I thought you were talking about me being special. No.
Moving on.
Okay.
There's a bit of science cleverly
You are very special.
Yeah. Well, there is that. Okay, so I'd like to talk a little bit about the Premier League at the moment, and in particular the form of Tom Perry in the Premier League. He's been top scoring for Peterborough.
Doing well.
I mean, doing better than Zach Vitanek by a country mile, you could say. He seems to have he seems to have started gating, or at least not being half a lap behind by the first bend sort of thing. He's there or thereabouts. And
well, you got the impression, I think, last year as well, that it was maybe getting close to the time when he needed to make that breakthrough if he was going to make his name in the sport. He started off well for Birmingham. He's happy at Birmingham. He obviously made it very clear at the end of the season that he wanted to come back to Perry Barr. So yeah, he's done well so far.
I think a lot of it is down. I mean, he's gone on record as saying that he started enjoying his Speedway again. I mean, the reason he didn't do Premier League last year was because
he wasn't
enjoying it, and then he was enjoying it after a season.
Peterborough, I think, he's a track that suits him as well.
Yeah, I was going to say that it is his sort of track, isn't it? Where you can, it's all about getting out into the dirt line, really, and we know that's what he's good at. But even so, top scoring in the Premier League, not a bad go, is it? It's not a bad go.
No, it's good as well. It's good that we're starting to see some of the younger British riders starting to make some progression from the National League into the Premier League. I've got to say, I'm disappointed that Alan Ellis isn't riding in the Premier League. I think for me to backward step him going to Eastbourne. Because
I'm a bit confused about that, because I was under the impression that his average was too high for him to stay in the National League. That's what we'd been given to believe.
Well, that was the impression that I got as well.
So how is that? Or is that because he's now got an elite league average? I can convert that and use that.
That may be the reason. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, he's doing very well in the elite league, hasn't he? He's been one of the best of the fast track riders.
Well, the argument that I would have really is that it's easy to be a bully in the reserves, the elite league, and to be a bully in the national league. Yeah. But maybe I think probably missing a trip or not going in the Premier League.
Got a couple of remarks from the special one. He's asked us what our thoughts are on Zach's second season. I think his progress may level off a bit compared to last year. Well, yeah, because he hasn't started too bad. He can't go from, for it to be at the same level, he'd have to go from a 9-point average to an 18-point average. So that's not. I think it will level off a bit. I think, but I think you'll find he's a very quick learner, and but he hasn't. Was it a maximum last night? Paid maximum yesterday. So
in fairness, it wasn't the most challenging opposition.
Of course, but even so, he hasn't.
We have a new listener to Speedway. Can you tell him all about Speedway in 5 sentences, maybe?
In 5 sentences. Well, who am I talking to first of all?
His name's Dennis.
Hello, Dennis. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern.
That's 1 sentence.
Are we counting up? All right,
that's 2.
Right, I'm going home now.
That's 3.
Okay, Speedway is a motorsport. It's raced on an oval track between 2 teams. Each team has 7 riders who ride a motorbike, a 500cc motorbike that accelerates faster than a Formula 1 car. They go into those corners at about 50 miles an hour, something like that, with no brakes. No brakes. 4 riders, 2 riders from each team, 15 heats. The one that scores the most points at the end of the meeting is the winner. Is that about it?
I think
No.
that's it.
You forgot the corners.
I don't think I did.
There aren't any corners.
You didn't say how they turn the corners.
Well,
Important part.
if you've ever seen, let me think. If you've ever seen a rally car go round a corner, that's pretty much how a speedway bike goes round these corners with no brakes. I have to reiterate that.
They steer with the back wheel.
They steer with the back wheel.
That's where all the power is.
It's quite spectacular, and as I say, no brakes. Have I said that before? Very close racing. A race lasts about 60 seconds. So if you have a NAF race, you've got another race coming along very soon, and chances are it's going to be good. So
you said close racing there, but we haven't been experiencing a lot of that lately.
Yeah. I mean, we are going to come on to this.
I'm not complaining, but
no, we are going to come on to this.
And that was my baby brother, by the way, Dennis.
Oh, hello.
First time listener, doesn't know nothing about Speedway.
Okay. You need to come down and watch it, Dennis. That's the only way to find out. That's the only way to find out whether you like it or not, is to come and watch it. I think it's a bit like Marmite, and it's one of those things you either like or you don't like.
And even if you don't listen to the show anyway.
Yeah. The special one says it's disgusting that Ellis hasn't a Premier League ride. What does he have to do? Well, I think the first thing he has to do is accept one of the Premier League rides that he was offered.
Well, this is it. So
because he was offered, as my understanding is, he has been and was offered Premier League rides and turned them down. He wanted to concentrate on getting his bikes and set up ready for the Elite League, and he's certainly done that. I don't blame Adam. He had a great time, I think, right for Birmingham. He was winning races for fun, and I think he'll do that again this year.
I think especially one saying that we haven't actually ridden against a decent.
Yeah,
we haven't had a decent run. I think
we haven't had a decent National League side to find out where we are yet. I think that is totally right. I mean, it's, but all the signs are good. So, well, I tell you what. Let's talk about. We've had 2 matches, 3 matches now. I beg your pardon. We've won them all by pretty decent scores, finishing up against a very poor Buxton team, made poorer by not being able to have Jade Mudway. Have you heard about that?
I've heard bits.
I'll bring you up to date in a minute. The biggest score we've had since returning in 2007, 42 points, if my maths is right, 66-24. And it could have been more.
Should have been more, really.
Should have been more, yeah. I mean, at one point, after the first 2 heats, I was thinking, could we go the whole way?
Yeah.
The equivalent of a 147. But no, we had the.
Is that one of the biggest wins that you've seen, Dan, very well?
It is the biggest win.
It is the biggest win.
I mean, not in our history, but it's the biggest win at that track. That's the easiest way of saying it. It's the biggest win we've had at that track. I think we've had bigger wins in our National League days in the 70s. Your dad will know more about that. If he's listening, he might be
he's probably shuffling through the books as we speak.
Yeah.
I did notice that Graham was pretty chuffed. He was
this
happy chappy.
Yeah, this team's making it very easy for him.
And he
really,
even when Graham's happy, he never looks happy. Do you know what I'm saying? But last night, I mean, I did see the interview that Joe did. He looked happy.
We should mention that normally we have interviews and so on from the riders, and we did get some interviews.
We've got some newfangled gear.
Yeah, we don't know how to work it. Yeah,
basically,
yeah.
So unless you want to just listen to a broom,
yes,
then we don't have anything.
It did sound like somebody was hitting it with a broom, actually.
Anyway, so that's what's going on there. So, okay, let's talk about last night's match. Not the greatest racing, I think it's fair to say. Apart from what a heat 7. You know what I'm talking about.
I know you're talking about Jack Smith's ride. Yeah,
Jack Smith's ride. Gosh, that guy has. I remember reading an article in the Speedway Star, I think it was last year, about his concern that he wasn't able to get into that he wasn't riding out in the dirt. He hadn't found out how to use the wide line and so on. Flipping and found it out now, because that was a fantastic. Talk you through Heat 7. I mean, basically he didn't make a great gate. He hasn't been making as good gates as he did last year.
No, he hasn't. In fairness,
so he's been getting
he hasn't picked up his dad's gating ability yet. So.
Well, yes, let's hope not. And I think he came out from the gate in 3rd place.
Memory serves me right, yeah.
Yeah, and so he's quite a long way behind the guy in third, Ollie Greenwood, I think it was. Yeah, Ollie Greenwood. He was quite a long way behind him, and so we were all settling down for a 4-2 and a fairly monotonous race. Then all of a sudden he went onto the outside on bends 1 and 2, and cut in. Did the Martin Smolinski cut up the sort of the Carlson corridor type thing.
Carlson corridor.
Yes. And show my knowledge now, you say. And pulled up an awful lot of ground on him, so he was pretty much on his back wheel, and from that moment on he was round the outside, and he went round the outside on the last lap of bends 3 and 4, and he went through a gap.
It literally wasn't
there. He wasn't there. The guy's handlebar was up against the fence nearly, but he still went round the outside of him, and I don't think Ollie Greenwood was pleased.
No, I don't think he was too happy, was he? So,
yeah,
but no, it was a tremendous ride.
It was a great ride.
It was a tremendous ride, and it probably saved the meeting, to be honest.
Yeah. It was wow. So he's full of confidence at the moment.
Yeah.
So, well, let's go through the team. Zach Vitanet, he got himself a paid maximum. Paid maximum and not in Heat 15. It's not going to happen very
often. Paid maximum for Dandy Newman, not in Heat 15 either. So.
Yeah, so haven't they? Those two, Vitanek and Hume, picked up a really good understanding with each other.
Dandy and Hume, to me, looks likely to be shaping up as the signing of the season so far, considering he's on a 3-point average.
Yeah.
He's not getting on a 3-point average at the end of the season, I'll tell you that now.
No. It's...
I mean, when I look at the Birmingham, looking at the Birmingham scores at the moment, you're going to be in a position where Tom Bacon's going to be at reserve.
Yeah,
we're definitely doing something right.
And maybe even Darryl Richards.
Yeah, and they'll clean up as well. So that's the advantage.
Darryl Richards, he got a maximum yesterday. Didn't look. I mean, looked really good with it as well. So Tom Bacon had a tough night. He got his average even, so he got his 4 points. He was dragged into the the tapes on his first heat. Obviously, you could see that he was trying to pull the thing back, and the clutch got hold of him, and he just dragged it in.
So Tom Bacon had a bit of a bad streak.
Yeah, well, Carl, no.
Sorry.
Right, I think what we need to do is have a Tom Bacon box.
Yeah.
And anybody that makes a terrible pun
Dad,
about Tom Bacon, has to put
I
some
know
money
you
in.
get hungry a lot, but
That'd be a right peever thing to do.
Oh, so that's £2 already. You have. So anyway, yeah, and then he had a fall. I'd be interested to know actually the fall and exclusion. What did you think of that in Heat 5? He was excluded for that fall. A lot of people around me felt that was a bit unfair and should have been all 4 back.
No, I thought it was the right decision.
I thought it was, I must admit.
I thought it was, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he touched anybody.
Yeah.
It was very tight, and I have seen them given all 4 back, but let's put it this way, if it had been the other way around, I'd have been a bit annoyed. You know, if it had been one of their riders.
Well, I mean, the referee last night was Graham Reeve, who's got a reputation for being a bit officious, so
Okay.
I thought he might have maybe, excluded, but I thought, well, he did exclude him, but it was the right decision,
Yeah,
to be fair.
I think it was as
Yeah.
well. So, okay, and then he got a third, didn't make a very good gate in Heat 9, and couldn't make any headway really, and then he won his last heat.
Won Heat 12.
Yeah, Heat 12.
Which was a bit of a faff, that race, to be honest, wasn't it, with the...
Oh yeah, Sam Wright.
yeah.
That was a bit unprofessional, shall we say.
Well, this is it. I mean, I think the clock of the course probably should have been called up for that one, because there didn't seem to be very much communication between the referee and the pits.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't really want a position where it's freezing cold night and the referee and the team managers are curling up with the rule book. You're in amazing. While everyone's standing around waiting this.
Yeah, particularly with rain in the air as well. But yeah. Well, it was a bit of a.
It's a shame, really, because Buxton have one thing about Buxton, they've always had a reputation for producing some good riders, good young riders, but there's quite a few riders in that team that were sort of in their late 20s, early 30s.
Talking about, I mean, let's talk about Jade Mudgeway while we've got a chance. And I felt a bit sorry for, I mean, big win for Birmingham, but let's set it against the background that one of their best riders, Jade Mudgeway, was not available for them. They had to do ride replacement for him, which didn't help. I think they got 1 point from his. No, let me work this out. 2, 3. It's not good radio, isn't it? 4. About 4 points from his ride, from what I can see. So, which is not. He's probably worth more than that, you would think. This is my understanding of what's happened. Okay, and who knows in Speedway. My understanding is that the guy comes from New Zealand, so he's not eligible to ride. But he'd applied for and been given British citizenship, and they'd got all paperwork had gone through for that. So he was eligible to ride, and they signed him, and he was there. And the BSPA said, yeah, blah blah blah. Then the SCB said, hold on, he ain't got a British passport. You can't. And this was a last minute thing. You can't ride. So I think almost the day before, something like that. They said, no, you can't ride for you. Now, a couple of things from that really. What? I mean, if he's British citizen, why do you need to hold a British passport? I haven't got a British passport at the moment. I was born in this country. I've been in this country all my life. Would I not be eligible to ride for Birmingham? Let's hope not. Yeah. I can hear everybody out there saying, but and the other thing is, how did they get rider replacement for a rider that's never ridden for them? I'm glad that they did. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad that they did. And it would have been crazy if they hadn't. But if you're going to go be stickler by the rules, that's what the rules are. So, but I felt sorry for Buxton that they had to cope with that, and it kind of done team morale.
Shame, as I say. I mean, it's a good little club, Buxton. They've done well to keep that going for as long as they have, to be honest.
So let's talk about Darryl Richins. I'm going to own up to something here. He was the signing that we made that I was
underwhelmed.
Yeah, that's a good word. Yeah, he's proven me wrong and spades so far.
Been superb so far, hasn't he?
Yeah. Did Graham Drury know something that I didn't know? Probably he always does know something that I don't know.
Well, in fairness to Graham Drury, he knows that league very, very well. I mean, obviously, I know he didn't build the team last year.
Last
That was
year.
Phil Morris, but he was more of a.
Well, I'm going to ask you a
building
question
team,
about the last year's team versus this year's team in a moment. Tom Perry, we've already spoken about a little bit, but he was making gates again last night.
Mhm.
He was either there or he was there or thereabouts, which obviously is a great advantage to him coming off that, because he rides that first and second corner on the first lap better than anybody else in the league, I think.
Yeah.
He knows he's got the attitude of that Jason Lyons always used to have, that the gate hasn't finished until you get to the third corner.
Mhm.
You know, and it's been fantastic to see. Long may it continue. I'm guessing that his experience in the Premier League is helping him now. And I also noticed.
I mean, at the end of the day, most of the top speeder riders are good gators, by and large.
Yeah, because you've got to be there or thereabouts to take advantage of whatever's there, you know.
What I would say probably about 80-85% of speedo races is in a season of one from the gate. So you know, it's not you know, I wouldn't say it's a dying art overtaking, but it's certainly something that you don't see as much of.
I wonder whether that's down to tracks or riders or bikes. Or
Bikes, I think, is the main reason. I don't think the new silences have exactly.
Although
helped.
I think they're better now.
I think they're better
Yeah,
now, but I think
so-
we went through a period where the silences did affect the quality of the racing.
I think there's no doubt about that.
And it still worries me that I think some riders are wary of bikes suddenly lurching out of control. I mean,
But hopefully, as they get used to them and more things, you know, and then as new silencers have been coming in as well, there's a couple coming this year, hasn't there? That, you know, I think that will.
I mean, the one thing that's bothered me in recent years is the number of riders I've seen fall off when there's nobody anywhere near them. Even top riders as well. You never saw that years ago. You never saw someone like Hans Nielsen falling off on his own or anything like that. But
Okay, well, we'll finish off talking about the Brummies. We'll talk about Jack Smith. Wow. That's all I can say.
Yep.
You know, I mean, we knew he was going to be good. You know, nobody was stupid enough not to know that we've got a good rider there. But perhaps even better than we expected. I don't know.
yeah, I mean,
The thing that surprised me a little bit about him is that his gating hasn't been
brilliant.
as brilliant as it has been previously.
He's
but-
got a good attitude, though, hasn't he? I
Oh.
mean, even if he misses the gate, that's not the end of the
no,
race.
no, I think that's the same. That's National League for you.
Yeah,
isn't it?
so
Jack Parkinson, Blackburn. Your
Well,
dad told me a little story about Jack Parkinson, Blackburn yesterday. And are you listening to this, Chris? 'Cause
yeah, I've heard
is,
this story. Yeah.
Jack Parkinson, Blackburn. He turned up yesterday in his school uniform.
Right, okay.
He turned up in his school.
I wondered what you were
think
going to say then.
He'd had a. I think he'd had an exam or
Science
something.
lesson.
And science exam, and he turned up in his school uniform.
That's
I've never
crazy,
seen
isn't
that before. It's frightening. Then comes out and gets.
So I wonder how that works. I mean, how do they pay? How do they pay him?
My understanding is we've had to have special dispensation to include him in the team. I think he becomes 16 in the year, so
Right,
you know.
okay.
But you
So it
can.
must be
You,
paid
no,
by
but-
some
That's
sort
been
of-
done before, isn't it?
yeah, you can.
Right, okay.
I think
15-year-olds can go
I
out
think
and earn.
Neil Evans
Yeah.
rode when he was 15.
It's his paper round, basically.
Yeah, I
That's
think
right.
Neil Evans rode when he
Nice
was
paper
15.
round.
A
Yeah,
bit
but
more
he shouldn't
dangerous
have-
than
he shouldn't
Yeah.
have.
Yeah,
So,
flinging
no,
papers.
they lied about his age, I think. So.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Neil Evans did.
Do you want an update from
Oh.
Sheffield?
Yes, I would love an update from Sheffield,
Right,
please.
so we're going then. Right. So Robert Lambert's still leading it with 3 rides, 3 wins. Jack Parkinson Blackburn has got 6 from 3,
That's good.
a third win and a second. Zach Varchnik, after winning his first ride, has had 2/3, so 5 points. Jack Smith had 2 second places and then a third, so he's on 5. Daniel Hume 0-3-0.
0-3-0. Okay, he hasn't.
It's like an Olympic score, that
It
is.
is, isn't it? Yeah. So at the moment, you say there's a chance of 3 riders getting through to 3 of our
Well, they're all
riders
very
getting-
much in the mix, aren't
Yeah.
they, by the looks of it?
Yeah.
So
Oh, so that's good. That's good news. Okay. I was going to say something special then, and now it's just
okay.
gone out of my head.
You can't think of anything special?
Being as you just forgot what you were going to say, you mentioned earlier about it basically being his paper round. That could be a new nickname, the paper boy.
No,
Paper
I
boy.
don't think he'd appreciate that. I don't think he'd give you many interviews for you to suggest that, to be fair. ELS says, I like Marmite, so I might go against Cradley and see if I have the bug.
Yeah.
Well, you got to. That'll be
That's
the meeting to
isn't
go
it? It's
to.
the
Yeah,
meeting,
that's the one.
Yeah, just explain. That's
well,
sort
I
of
think
like that's like a blues villa type.
It's
thing,
like a
yeah.
Blues Villa type thing, particularly.
Except they really hate each other.
Well, yeah. Well, particularly after last year, they didn't like it up and
No, Mrs.
because obviously we won stuff at their expense last year, basically. So, yeah, it is very much.
It's a fierce rivalry, isn't it? I don't think it's as fierce as Wolves Cradley was, but that's personal opinion. So.
I've heard some Cradley supporters say that actually. I know Wolverhampton supporters think it's Cradley Birmingham, Cradley Wolverhampton. That's the big one, but a lot of Cradley supporters, from going back from the past, always felt that it was Cradley Birmingham that was the big one. So it's really weird how that.
Well, I mean, in fairness, I mean, for a long time it was really Wolves and Cradley in the top league. I mean, Coventry were there as well, but you know, no, I mean, I've got
Is that purely because of the feeder system that we used to?
some fantastic source and Wolves Cradley meetings. I can tell you, if we had time, we had a bleep machine. So.
Yeah, I can think of a few at some interesting things, including when I once put some ice cream down Bruce Pennell's back. But we weren't talk about because he was walking around with his top down doing that. So had to be done. Anyway, yeah. So okay, we've got this meeting coming up against Cradley. I think it's fair to say that three teams have had the best start to the season, which is Birmingham, Cradley, and surprisingly Kent. I think Kent have had a really good start. They went to Eastbourne and beat them. They can't have a better start than that, can you?
Yeah, I mean, Kent could be a real surprise package. Well, they've been.
They're also already a surprise package.
I mean, so that's going to be a. I mean, I think they're at Perrybar in a few weeks, aren't they? So
I think so. Yeah, we've got a few tests coming up now.
Let's hope we do just as well as we already have.
My gut feeling is that they've got the top end firepower. But I'm just reading what Stan's saying on the.
Good evening, Stan.
Yeah,
by the way.
Brummies will win at Brandon, but the Cradley result will go either way. Okay, interesting. I think that
don't agree with that.
No, I don't. I think we're going to. I think we've just got too much strength in depth, and that yes, they've got top end power, but it ain't that much better than our top end power, and I think we can take
I think
points off
Birmingham
them.
will win comfortably myself.
Well, I'm going to go for 10-point win, which is comfortable in my book. But if we do win comfortably, what does that say about this team and its league?
It
Sort
says
of
they're rather good, I
aspirations.
suppose.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, how good is this team? I'm beginning to think it's the best team I've
think
seen.
Birmingham, I think it's the best team in the division. Of all the teams, the teams that I've seen, I think the Brummies have got the best side, and I think certainly they've got the best team spirit by the looks of it as well.
The team spirit is unbelievable.
Eastbourne, obviously Eastbourne, with the elephant in the room, of course, Eastbourne with their home track advantage, which is only really that only really becomes that way if riders
can take advantage of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, riders who go to Eastbourne and sort of psychologically think, oh, with Eastbourne they're going to have such a home track advantage. Well, just go there and ride the track. Go there and ride the track.
Well,
Kent have gone there and won.
Yeah, and get out the gate.
Kent have won there.
Yeah, well, Kent have won. I mean, to be fair to Eastbourne, there was a few things that went wrong, but I don't think it changed the result that much. Let's talk about Eastbourne, because obviously we spoke about Adam Ellis and they've made this signing of Adam Ellis. First thing I would say is, if you're riding for Eastbourne, are you looking over your shoulder all the time? Because I mean, they got rid of Ben Hopwood because it's not a very National League type of thing to do, is it? It's an elite league way of looking at things. That's been the accusation sort of thrown at them.
Well, it's a club run by the Duggards, and they don't mess around, to be fair. So
Yeah, but that then could have maybe affected team spirit a bit and maybe make their like racing quality not as good.
That's what if you're looking over your shoulder thinking, am I next? Are you fully concentrating on your racing? I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on the sort of person you are. Some people will go, right, that's not going to happen to me.
Although even if you're not, it'll still be hard. Like, there won't be as much, like, you won't be able to work as good as a team because, like, they'll always be being replaced.
Well, there is that, yeah. So I'm reading some special ones just said, and that's a good point, and I'll come to that in a moment. They're very, very. You can tell us what that score is in just a second. To Wolverhampton, 20-34 at Swindon. That is. How's Jason Doyle doing? Oh, what are you doing? I'll carry on talking about
this. Beaming anyway, so
yeah. He's absolutely beaming.
4 points from 2.
Wow, cool.
Eunice Kilmacorp is unbeaten. Sam Masters is unbeaten as well.
Fantastic. Eunice Kilmacorp is going to be a
14,
big year for him,
14 points in front. Freddie Lincoln hasn't won a race yet.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah.
Anyway, enough about that.
Yeah.
For now.
Talking about Eastbourne, we think Cradley's top heavy, but Eastbourne are far more top heavy, aren't they? Now with the changes that they made.
I think so. Yeah. Certainly. They're going to have 8 leads that are going to be 9 unbeatable around there. I think, and I think they're going to do well. Obviously, when Eastbourne come to Perry Barr, they're not going to have Adam Ellis because he's going to be riding for Paul.
That's weather permitting, of course. Yeah.
And Paul have got a match. Yeah. So
it would be quite nice to have had him there and welcomed him back and then beat him. But anyway, the special one says, on paper this team, meaning the Brummies, look solid title winners, but we've had strong looking teams decimated by injury before.
Well, that's just part and parcel of the sport, really, isn't it?
That could have happened. I mean, I think we would have been even more susceptible to that last year. I mean, if Adam Ellis had got injured, for instance,
or Zach,
or Tom.
Well, I know you've always said the classic one was 2008, wasn't it?
2008. Well, 13 injuries. What can you say?
Yeah, so
13 riders injured. We could have fielded nearly 2 teams that year. And the big thing about it was, on paper, that original team was very good. And I've spoken to Adam Roynan about that team, and he still says that was the best team he ever rode in before the injuries occurred. So that sort of says it all, really, doesn't it? Do
you think this team is a better setup than last?
You just read my mind, actually, because that's exactly where I was going to come across. I was going to ask Matt's opinion first. This team this year versus last year's team, which would win? That's the best way of looking at it, isn't it?
I don't.
Would Zach Vitanek beat Zach Vitanek? I know, I'm realising what I'm asking you here.
I think he'd draw myself. Dead. I don't think it's really fair to compare yet until this current Birmingham side have had a tougher challenge yet, which will come next week. Even though I think Birmingham will beat Cradley coming through, I think Cradley will definitely provide sterner opposition than.
Without a doubt, absolutely, without a doubt. And we've got Max Clegg and Luke Chessel's been doing really well for them as well, hasn't he? So, without a doubt, that's going to be. The special one says, remember that one, Lions, Lego, Roynan, the year of what ifs. That was exactly the year I was talking about, 2008. My personal opinion on what I've seen so far is that this team is a better team than last year, and I base that on the fact that even against some poor teams last year, we made hard work of it because of that massively long tail, and it was never until I can't remember any. We never got past 54 points. I think, something like that.
I think
we've done that 3 times.
I think the thing with this Birmingham team is it's always going to have strong riders at reserve and a strong number one.
And it's always going to have riders
which are so
through the team that can beat anybody.
Which is so crucial to any team that wants to win the league. And of course, if one rider has a bad night, as Tom Bacon did last night, other riders can sort of dig them out in that sense.
Well, yeah. I think it's very important, injuries-wise, that if you do have injuries, and we're going to get injuries because everybody does.
Yeah.
That it happens at the right time, vis-a-vis the averages. If it happens before we get the new averages, then we've got 3-point riders. If, for instance, that are 7 or 8 or 9
Yeah.
points in that reality, and having to be
The other
replaced by
flying
3
of it
points.
really is the fact that last season it was whoever finished top won won the league.
Yes.
This season, of course,
Yeah.
it's playoffs.
Well, we spoke about this before, haven't we? And
Which I don't agree with in the National League.
I don't agree with it in any league in Speedway, if I'm honest. And the reason being, okay, because it's the Eastbourne factor for me.
Yeah.
Because once you're winning a title over 2 legs, if you've got a tremendous home track advantage, if your teams are equal in sort of how good they are, but you've got a tremendous home track advantage, well, you've got an advantage to win something over 2 legs, and I don't think that is right. If it was run on a neutral track, yeah, I wouldn't have so much of a problem with the playoffs. And I understand there's reasons that can't happen, but do you see my point?
Oh yeah, I would like to see that happen. To be honest, finals on a neutral
track.
venue.
Well, it won't happen because the main reason they do it is because it's a money spinner.
Yeah.
And if it goes on a neutral track, that promotion's going to get at least a portion of the money that's being spun, if that makes sense.
Unless they sort of divide it between the promoters club and the 2 other clubs, but obviously they.
So if then he starts following the Brummies, is what he's saying, does that make him a glory hunter?
It does this year. Yes, it does this year.
We need to explain to this that
Yeah.
the Brummies at this moment are playing really, it's the 3rd tier, isn't it?
It's the 3rd tier,
It's
yeah.
the third tier. We have been up there not long ago. with
Yeah,
the
and
elite.
in winning the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately, those damn playoffs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
So, yeah, it would.
also it would be great, wouldn't it, if it was a one match on a neutral ground?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be something?
We've talked about this before, haven't we?
We have
Yeah,
spoken about
it's the day out.
It's the day out.
The
Yeah,
day
it's the
out.
day out. Yeah.
Well, I've been fortunate to see a cup final on a neutral track. It was the Knockout Cup final.
And I bet that's
Oh,
great.
many years
I bet
ago,
that's
so-
And I bet that was it good. I mean, was it the atmosphere?
Well, Wolves won by 20 points, so it was.
So
Very
it was
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can imagine the atmosphere would be
Long Eaton,
fantastic.
because Monmouth Green was shut because it was the dog track was being resized.
Oh, okay.
And consequently, the Speedway track was,
Right.
and so they had to go. They went to Long Eaton, and there was about 20 coaches of Wolves fans went
Right.
up for that. It was incredible. It was
Yeah.
an incredible night.
Well, it's a
Massive
day
crowd.
out. It's
Probably
a
the
day out, isn't it?
probably
Yeah.
the biggest crowd they've had at Long Eaton. And it
I
wasn't
don't,
for a
yeah,
Long Eaton
I don't
meeting,
think
so-
anybody's ever had a day out at Long Eaton before. To be fair.
But that's what's missing, yeah. It does need that sort of like festival day out where it's such a massive occasion where, people go out and get dressed up.
I mean, you could
get
do it in the
drunk
National
and-
League and do it at, I don't know, Bellevue if it ever opens.
Probably the first meeting there, isn't it? This
Yeah.
right, so
So that I think that would be something that needs to be looked at. But hey ho. So okay, let's do some. So we do some predictions. Wolverhampton, they've got some matches coming up. Who
Lakeside on Monday.
Lakeside on Monday at home.
Yeah,
I think-
tough meeting because Lakeside have started
They've
well.
had started
of course, they're
well,
beating
haven't they?
Poole. I mean, I said a while ago that I thought Poole could do what Oxford did in the 80s and go through the season unbeaten.
Right.
That obviously can't happen now.
No.
So that's going to be a tough meeting because they always tend to push us close at Monmouth.
Are they good at Monmouth? Because I suppose they're quite used to tight turns, aren't they?
Yeah,
So,
and they won the last year, but to be fair, everybody else won there last year.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
Leicester managed to win at Monmouth last year. So
Well, I think this is going to be the kiss of death now, but I'm going to predict a 10-point win. I like my 10 points win for Wolverhampton because I just think they've just started on fire. They did last year, to be fair. They was in 4th place by about a third of the way through the season, but it just feels different.
I think 8-point win. I mean, Lakeside will be coming to Monmouth looking for a point, no doubt about that.
Mhm.
But probably Wolves will just have enough. Be nice to get, just want to get a home meet again because I mean, getting all these big away wins is not going to be good for the finances if you're paying the riders for the big scores away and you're not getting any income from home matches.
Mhm. Mhm.
So just get same with Bellevue.
So
as
they
well.
need
So
it. They need
probably
a
more so
home
with
match.
Bellevue with the. So
Yes.
but I think a home win.
Also, I mean, in a way, if they get a home match, it would be good for Wolverhampton that you've had this little bit of a period without a home match because it's going to up the crowd, particularly while you're doing so well.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Oh yeah, I mean, I just don't like this notion of having meetings a fortnight.
Mm.
I mean, obviously it was a Birmingham last year, and most of the Birmingham fans I spoke to didn't like it.
No,
Meeting a
no.
fortnight, and
It's sort of happening again, isn't it?
The problem really as well is because the difference between Cradley now being at Monmouth and when they were at Monmouth before, there's more teams in the National League. So there's not as many free dates.
I tell you how that works, right? And the only way that works, for me anyway, having fortnightly meetings, and that's if you all race on the same night.
Yeah.
Because then you've got an away meeting on the same, the next. So you got your home meeting today, and then next week you're away, and so you've got a meeting to go to if you want to. And
in fairness, I get the impression that's probably what they're looking at for next season.
Right.
So obviously Keith Chapman's
certainly in the elite
Keith
league,
Chapman's obviously been keen to try and get at least 2 nights a week in the elite league, and just keep it away from the Premier League, so you just don't get the number of guests and rather than missing meetings, which is really the bane of Speedway fans' life, I think. So
yeah, absolutely. Cradley, have they got any meetings between now and next week? I'm not sure.
I don't think they have. Actually, I don't think they have.
Well, of course they've got the one meeting against Birmingham, so we'll have to do a prediction on that. But first of all, should the meeting be on tomorrow and the weather's, we're not sure yet. Birmingham versus Coventry. Who are you going to go for?
I think it would away win. I think the Brummies will win there.
Okay. By
6 points.
6 points. Okay. I'm going to go 4 points. Not quite as clever, but confident as you. But I think, Joseph, you got a prediction to make?
Yeah, I'm going to go a bit higher, around 8 points, because as you were saying earlier, Tom wasn't his best last match, but at the end of
Tom
the match,
Bacon, of course.
I did interview him, but obviously
we aren't going to hear that interview.
But
because you pressed the wrong buttons.
But he mentioned after the meeting he'd been messing around with his bike a bit, and he thinks he's onto something. So
which will be good. Hello, gents. I don't know a lot about Speedway. Chris will say I don't know a lot about anything, but I must admit I have learnt something tonight. Really informative. Oh, that's really nice. Thank you, mate. That's really good to hear. I tell you what we'll do for you, ELO, or what Chris will do for you anyway, is he'll shove some... he'll shove a couple of YouTube links up for you to have a look at some Speedway action. Probably the Chris Harris win. Yeah.
And also, we have must tell people we have got a Speedway channel as well. So we'll be sticking all our bits and pieces on that as well.
I beg your pardon, madam. Okay, so So I better give you my. I've given you my permission. So we go to Buxton. Oh, Matt,
probably the most disappointing result of last season, wasn't it? Losing there.
Yeah.
In fact, very nearly lost the bonus point as well. So
yes, yeah.
But I think from what I saw of Buxton on Wednesday, I can't see anything other than a way win for that one.
Okay.
And I think Birmingham have got a chance of picking the maximum points there.
Right. I think you're right as well. I think 10, 12, 14 points win. 14
could
point
be pushing
win.
20, I think.
Yeah, I'll go for 14. I'm not going to I don't want to
jinx it.
Yeah. Joseph?
Well, I think we're probably going to win just based on the match that we had so far. But as you said, they've been missing riders, so if they manage to get their team back up to full strength by then,
Okay. Well, hopefully we'll have some interviews from Buxton, because we're intending to go to that, so that would be cool. And of course, the big one I think we've already all nailed our head. What am I trying to say there? Yes, I think he bobs to the mast, yes.
Yeah, a bird in the hand is worth two up the... What's it?
Yeah, I believe that's true. So, okay. Cradley versus Birmingham. Birmingham versus Cradley. How many by who?
Birmingham win by 15.
15, really? You're that confident? Wow, Joseph.
15?
15, 14. I should say 14, really.
It means you're obviously going for a tape exclusion at some point.
A 3-2 or a 3-0 or something like that. Or a 0-0, which I've seen before. So.
I have seen that. A 0-0. Joseph.
All I'm saying is I don't want to jinx anything.
Okay. It is the big one, isn't it? I mean, just for ELO's benefit here, I think it's safe to say that we consider it a successful season if we've beaten Cradley. I think, obviously you want to win the league, but you want to beat Cradley. And probably they do us, I don't know. So
Rather the league than Cradley. Well, I mean, rather Cradley than the league. But if we could do both at the same time, win the league by beating Cradley, that would be the ideal win.
So we was talking about this last night, wasn't we? And we got 3 minutes to discuss this. We don't like playoffs.
No.
However, what a playoff it would be if it was Birmingham versus Cradley.
Oh, yes.
Definitely.
Eh?
Be
That
great
would be-
for the local area.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something? With a Birmingham win, of course.
Oh,
Nothing but.
anything that involves Cradley losing a match.
I'd like to ask Matt a question, actually, because obviously you've seen them at Wolverhampton, Cradley this year. You have seen them at Wolverhampton this
No, I
year.
haven't seen Cradley.
Okay.
I haven't seen Cradley.
However, you do know the Wolverhampton setup quite well. Can Birmingham go to Cradley, given the home advantage that they have there, and beat them at Cradley? Do you think that's
Yeah.
a possibility?
Well, I
Oh,
think they
you
can.
can come again.
I think they can, yeah.
Stan says looks like Cov may be off. Rain.
In fairness, the forecast's not.
I mean,
Brilliant.
don't like making rain predictions. So look, watch the
But
websites
I
because
think
you know it could be on.
I
you've
think you
seen-
did say earlier that you saw some lightning, which
I did see some
doesn't
lightning.
look good.
Yeah, I did see some lightning. Yeah, the first of the year. Okay, well, that is the first Speedway Tavern of the year. Hope you've all enjoyed it. As we mentioned before, Big Centre TV, we're still hopeful of something happening with that, and we'll know. I think we'll know more by this time
But
next
we
week.
must tell people either way there will be a Speedway.
There will be a
Tavern.
Speedway Tavern.
Yeah.
We've got
Options.
We've got options
We've
and
got
plans.
options, yeah,
So
yeah.
there will be a Speedway Tavern.
Even if it means we have to come back here.
There will be a Speedway Tavern.
Can't say too much.
Sam says if Brum beat Cradle, it will be down to the reserves.
Yeah.
I think that is a big advantage for us. There's no doubt our reserve. But I've got to say, Cradley's reserves haven't been doing so bad, actually.
They've been doing okay, yeah.
Ben
so.
Basford, I think in particular, has had a good start. But I don't think they're going to beat our guys.
Not very well. That's where Birmingham are going to win a lot of meetings, I think.
Yeah.
Strong
Which is-
reserves.
Yeah, always going to be strong reserves.
Yeah.
So, injuries accepting, of course. Right, okay, well, thank you very much for coming to see us tonight.
And thanks for your kind words as well
Yeah.
tonight. Thank
The
you
show
very
is your show, and it wouldn't work without you. So, take care. See you
No.
on Wednesday.
Right, thank you,
Bye.
bye.
It's RBRadio.com.